How should I write my personal statement? What should I include into my personal statement? Can you just write a personal statement for us to follow? This is giving me too much headache to write. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. The name is Clifford, or you can call me Daddy Cliff, as it is on the channel. Now, one of the questions or one of the problems that most students face whenever they want to apply into any university is writing a personal statement. And in this video today, I am going to tell you one thing that you must never do and 5 things that you must do or must take into account when writing your personal statement if you want to succeed into any university, into any scholarship, be it the Global Korea Scholarship that will allow you to study in any university in South Korea. Now, before we begin, please, if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and turn on the notification so that you don't miss out on any future video coming from me. One of the things that you must never do or think about is that a personal statement is not important. Many students think a personal statement is not important. They even think that maybe the admission committee never reads the personal statement. But yes, they might be right, because admission committee member will never read any personal statement which from the very beginning gives them the reason not to continue reading. If your personal statement does not have any killer opener, then why should they read it? Why should they continue reading? If your personal statement from the very beginning does not grab their attention, why must they continue reading? Some students think that their grade, their awards, and other achievements are more important than their personal statement. The answer is they are completely wrong. It is important for me to tell you that personal statement takes at least 30% of total admission. Let's say admission into any university is 100%. Know that personal statement takes between 25 to 30% of the total score. That's excluding your study plan, which means study plans has their own score and then your certificate, awards, and other things. It is important to know that if you think your grade, your awards are important, they are not important. They are just a quantitative item as far as the admission is concerned. Everyone can have a good grade in most cases, or everyone can have the grade that is required for admission. But then your grades do not help in any way in telling your story. They do not have any means to tell the examiner, when the examiner is looking at your papers, looking at your certificate, your transcript, that John has this personality. John is this type of a person. They are not qualitative. Through your grades, the examiner can never know who you are. But once you start writing, the first thing is your style of writing tells the examiner if you're a good writer. Your style of writing and the way you write your personal statement makes the examiner to kind of have a picture of who this applicant is, which is why the personal statement is very important, because it is you telling the examiner who you are. It is you emotionally attaching yourself to the examiner, which is why it is important for you to write your personal statement as a story about your life, but not in a way that will draw back pity, in a way that will be like a good piece of literature which will cause the reader to just want to keep on reading. Like I said, the grades do not tell anything about the candidate's life experience, what the candidate was able to go through during their maybe secondary and high school period, and how the type of grit, the type of resilience that they were able to exhibit, that they were able to show, that helped them overcome some challenges in life. Which is why in some part of the personal statement they would ask about your life experiences. Don't just write your life experiences, but tell them how those life experiences contributed into building your grit, your mindset, your resilience, that character, that ability for you to continue to thrive, continue to succeed no matter how difficult it is, which is why your personal statement is very important. So the first thing is, never try to think that the personal statement is not important. It is one of the most important documents as far as admission into any university or scholarship is concerned. There are 5 things that you must take into account, you must do for you to succeed in your global career scholarship application, undergraduate or graduate. The first one is that do follow instructions. It is important to know that if you go to page 2, which is a personal statement, it has 2 things. The first one is how they want you to write your personal statement. It has things like the font size, they want 11 point. The second one is they want you to use Times New Romans, and then they say single space, and then lastly within 2 pages, which means you should not exceed 2 pages. I think last year was 1 page, this year is 2 pages. Now that's how they want you to write your personal statement, how they want you to address your paper, how they want the fonts to look like. The next is on what to write. The first what to write is motivation with which you apply for this program, educational background, significant experience you have had, persons or events that have had a significant influence on you, right up to, if applicable, describe awards you have received, publication you have made, or skills you have acquired. That is on what they want you to write. Do not go out of what they want you to write. You follow instructions when you're writing a personal statement by doing how they want you and what they want you to write. How they want you to write and what they want you to write. It is important for you to follow those instructions. If you do not follow those simple instructions, what kind of message are you passing around to the admission committee? You're probably telling them that if you go to the university in South Korea, you might probably not follow the university rules. You might just be doing your own things, or maybe you might end up not even going to school. No admission committee member would want to bet on someone who might not fulfill the conditions of the scholarship. The second thing is, do not be in a rush when writing your personal statement. Do not take a single day to write your personal statement. Use a week or 2 or even 3, and make sure you read, you proofread, you keep on reading. The thing is, today you might write, and then if you go back tomorrow you might find errors. You go back the next day, you might find more errors. So you have to make sure that you have no errors like capitalization, punctuations. You have to avoid spelling mistake, grammatical mistakes or errors. You must make sure your personal statement is perfect. Let's say 99% perfect, because they can never be 100% perfect. If possible, look for a second or third party to help read your statement. If possible, they read, they correct, give it back to you. You read, do the necessary correction, give them again, read, correct, and then if possible, give it to a third person who can equally read it. But I will advise that you give it to somebody who is in the same field that you are thinking of applying to. The third thing that you must do is that begin your personal statement with a killer sentence. A sentence that will grab your reader's attention and will want the reader to keep on reading. It is important to know that admission committee members into any university do read thousands of personal statements every day, and they've seen many crazy personal statements. Don't let yours be one, because if it is one, they will just throw it away and go to the next one. Begin your personal statement with a sentence that will put them on their toes and make them to continue to want to read your personal statement. Never begin your personal statement with sentences like, "Hi, my name is John. I am from Ghana. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. I was always top of my class. I had a GPA of maybe 3.5 on a scale of 4. I had always loved South Korea. I had always loved watching South Korean dramas. I love BTS, stuff like that. Those things are pointless. It is important to note that in the application form, they already know your name. They already know your GPA from your transcript and certificate of graduation. Why waste the space on your statement of purpose to provide information that they already have in other documents? You have to make good use of the space that has been given to you to write your personal statement by making it very attractive, appealing, and showing how ambitious you are. Try to keep your personal statement interesting, and it should keep the reader reading. It should equally be very ambitious. It should show how ambitious you are. It should be like a novel, a beautifully written novel, or a literature that will be emotionally attaching, that tells your story in a way that the reader can see themselves in you, or they can like picture your story, they can picture your life story, and they will want to keep on reading and knowing more about you. Because like I said, a personal statement is a story of you. You have your story. Try to write that story in a beautiful way that will be appealing to the person reading, the person who is supposed to assess your personal statement and give you score. It should be emotionally connecting. The reader should be able to connect emotionally to your personal statement. Number 4, you must be honest in what you're writing. You should avoid telling lies. I know in most cases students try to be good in the eyes of the selection committee member for any scholarship, but remember that telling lies is not a good thing. It will never be a good thing, because remember, your personal statement will be one of the documents that might be used for an interview. What if they ask you a question that is in part of the stories that you've presented and you cannot defend that story? It is important to note that the only key to your future success is your past success or your past achievements. The struggles that you went through life, maybe you went through a lot of difficulties in life, but what is important about the difficulties is how you were able to overcome these difficulties and eventually obtain your goals. You achieving your goals under difficult circumstances tells who you are. It tells the admission committee member if you have grit, if you have resilience. It tells them whether you are able to strive even in the presence of difficulties. It equally tells them what drives you inside. Because you were able to succeed under difficult circumstances, that shows that you have some kind of drive in you to succeed under difficult circumstances. And that equally proves that if they give you the opportunity to come and study in South Korea, despite the fact that you might be living in a foreign country, far away from your parents, far away from your family, you might be able to actually pursue your studies until the end. You might not give up because you had once succeeded in overcoming difficulties until you eventually graduated in the past. That shows that you have some drive in you for success. It shows that you have some amount of determination to overcome adversities, no matter how difficult the situation might be. It also shows that you have a drive for success, which means you might be able to overcome the world. You might be able to play a big part in making this world a better place. No matter how much difficulties the world throws at you, you will be able to overcome, despite the fact that you live in a foreign land. You will be able to take your studies to the logical end, because remember, they don't want to bet on somebody who will come and then maybe quit their studies after a couple of months. Why give it to somebody who has not demonstrated, even in writing, somebody who cannot write well, a simple document as a personal statement, somebody who cannot express their life story in a beautiful way, somebody who cannot show that they can write well? So they will not want to bet on somebody who would probably come and abandon their studies. Number 5, write about your own stories. Do not write about something or copy something from the internet. The story that you're writing should be about you and you alone. It is important to note that everyone has their own stories. Make the personal statement about your story, about your own life achievements, about how you were able to overcome difficulties in your life. Now, this is what you should be thinking about. Let's say in the area where they are asking about your family, rather than be writing about a number of people in your family, why not write about the fact that you came from a poor background? Yes, but despite the fact that you came from a poor background, it acted as a motivating factor for you to see your family out of that poverty by focusing more on your studies. Maybe when you were in the high school, you would go to school and then in the afternoon you would go do a part-time job. With the money from the part-time job, you were able to help your father to sustain the family. That will mean you coming from a poor background did not act as a demotivator. It was instead a motivator for you to work harder. Remember, it's not about calling for self-pity. It is about showing how, despite too much adversity, you had the grit, you had the resilience to keep on pushing. You did not give up, because it is about whether you would come and give up or you would keep on fighting to make sure you obtain the certificate, the degree that you're coming to pursue in South Korea. Lay down the steps that you took, probably by studying hard. After school, you went for a part-time job. When you got back home, you probably made sure that you did all of your assignments. You had study groups, you had seminars that you were attending that helped informing you, that made you more determined about life. That will show some level of determination in you. So it is important for you not to bring up issues like, I come from a poor background, my family is poor, I believe that having this scholarship will help me obtain the degree that I would have a better job. No, use that story in a way that it will be positive. Say things like, despite the fact that I come from a family that is big, I have, if you want, you can say I had 4 or 5 brothers, I am the oldest son, but this kept me pushing. It made me to have the idea, the mind that I should study hard, obtain the degree, and then make sure I further my studies right up to degree level so that I can obtain a better job, that I can use it to maybe take my family out of poverty and equally contribute to the society. Because what is important about every scholarship is about what you will bring to make this world a better place. It's not just about you getting a job that will make you be financially independent. It is about how you are equally going to contribute in making this world a better place. So try to bring up ideas like, despite the fact that I come from a poor family, that didn't stop me. I made sure I went to school, studied hard, did the sciences, attended study clubs, volunteered, did part-time jobs. It is important that you make sure you turn your negative stories into something positive that will be like a novel, a beautiful literature that will make them to continue reading. Don't bring self-pity into it by saying things about how you come from a poor family. If they give you this scholarship, it will help you take your family out of poverty, it will help you obtain a good job, stuff like that. No, don't use that line. Never try to bring out self-pity. Instead, try to show how, despite the fact that you went through a lot of adversities in life, it did not discourage you until graduation, and now you think the Global Career Scholarship is an opportunity for you to learn more and equally help in building not just your family, but help your country, help the world to be a better place. Now, those were 5 things that you have to take into account when writing your personal statement. I know that many students will still have a lot of difficulties coming out with a good personal statement. If you have any problem still coming out with your personal statement, please comment below. If possible, you can connect with me on my Facebook, Instagram. The link will be somewhere up there or probably down in the description section. I wish you the best in your application. Have a cool head. Take your time to write your personal statement. Take your time to write your study plan. The next video will be on study plan, and I'll see you in the next video.